I am a top-tier celebrity. On my daughter's 7th birthday, my childhood sweetheart, Aaron Liu, spent $1 billion to buy a time machine. He said he had regrets. He wanted to travel back 8 years to save his true love, Emily Wrong, from drowning instead of me, his newlywed wife, who was pregnant at the time. On this special day, I could only watch helplessly as my daughter, whom I cherished for 7 years, vanished into the timeline to celebrate the revival of his long-lost love. He filled the entire city with fireworks. The next time I opened my eyes, I found myself reborn to the moment 8 years ago, just before the flood. This time, I mercilessly kicked Aaron into the water and watched calmly as he and Emily swam together in the flood, reenacting a scene from Titanic with their deep affection. "Luna," I murmured, jolting awake as if from a long dream. My hands trembled as I cradled my abdomen. Everything around me was so familiar. I had indeed been reborn to the night before the devastating flood 8 years ago, on my daughter Luna's 7th birthday. My husband of 8 years, Aaron Liu, traded her for a time machine worth $1 billion. He told Uncle Lin, "I'm willing to spend everything on a time machine if it means I can bring Emily Wrong back. She's the love of my life." With that, Luna vanished before my eyes. No matter how desperately I searched, I couldn't find her. In fact, no one in the world remembered her except me. All they knew was that the powerful CEO Aaron Liu was madly in love with his wife, Emily, spending a fortune on fireworks to win her smile for 7 days and nights. The city sky was ablaze with colors. I couldn't find my daughter, nor could I take revenge. I died in despair beneath those dazzling fireworks. Now I am back on the eve of the flood. My assistant, noticing my condition, grumbled, "Madam Xu, you fainted from pregnancy, and Mr. Liu is still in Emily's tent without coming to see you." I shook my head, unable to stop my tears, feeling a surge of emotion. "This time, Luna, Mommy will protect you." Outside, the rain poured relentlessly. I immediately grabbed my assistant's hand and said, "Tell the villagers to evacuate to higher ground now. A flood is about to break out, and by morning, this place will be submerged." The flood, 8 years ago, had taken thousands of lives. Now that I was reborn, I would do everything to prevent those deaths. When my assistant turned to leave, I called her back. "Don't disturb Aaron and Emily, get everyone onto the boats first." In our past life, Aaron regretted saving his pregnant wife instead of Emily during the flood. That's why he paid $1 billion for a time machine, disregarding Luna's life to change his decision. This time, I would see how he planned to escape. It was the first year of my marriage to Aaron and also the peak of my fame. I was filming in a remote area when Aaron, using the pretext of visiting me, sneaked around with Emily, a minor actress. When I went to warn the villagers, I passed by Emily's tent and overheard Aaron's low, husky laughter. He was always cold and indifferent to me, and every time Luna tried to win his favor, she was cruelly rejected. Luna, such a good child, would always blame herself, saying she made Daddy angry. But this obedient little girl was erased from existence by Aaron. No one but me remembered her. Aaron used the time machine to undo the past and bring Emily back, causing Luna's death. How could I not hate him? How could I not resent him? Even outsiders couldn't stand it. "Uncle Lin, Mr. Liu's behavior is too much," the director said, hesitating but clearly sympathetic toward me. I forced a smile, suppressing the hatred boiling in my heart. Young people just like to have fun. I have more important things to take care of. Soon enough, Aaron would no longer have any reason to laugh. Turning to the director, I said, "If you trust me, get everyone onto the boat now." The director, who had collaborated with me many times, believed me. He discreetly started evacuating people. The rain was pouring hard, drumming on the tents. Aaron and Emily were inside, watching Titanic together, laughing and oblivious to the chaos outside. This time, I wouldn't be foolish enough to quit the industry for love. I would protect Luna and reclaim my own success. After a night of hard work, most of the villagers were safely evacuated onto the boat. This boat was originally a prop for filming. Luckily, the director had the funds to rent a real boat. Otherwise, everyone here would have been doomed. At dawn, just before leaving, I glanced once more at Emily's tent. They hadn't stepped out all night. I was looking forward to the shock on their faces when they emerged to find an empty village in raging floodwaters. My assistant cautiously reminded me, "Madam Shu, Mr. Liu is still in Emily's tent. Should we call them? The water level is already waist deep." As the floodwater surged, I told my assistant, "You go first. I'll call them." Knowing it was a matter of life and death, my assistant didn't hesitate to leave. I approached their tent and lifted the flap with a kick. Even though their tent was on higher ground, a single push was enough for the flood to rush in and overturn it. "Aaron! Emily wrong!" "Thank me. I've given you the perfect chance to face life's challenges together." This version of the script is now complete with full stops, commas, and necessary corrections to names and wording for better readability. As I reached the boat, it was already full. "Uncle Lin, hurry! The last spot is yours." Yes, that final spot had been mine in the past life. Had I not stayed behind waiting for Aaron, he would never have had the chance to rescue me from the boat. I watched Aaron and Emily desperately rushing toward us from the distance. In this life-or-death moment, there was no room left for them on the boat. The storm raged on as floodwaters mixed with mud and debris. Aaron and Emily clung to each other, drifting in the water. "Uncle Lin, pull us up," Aaron cried out. I looked down at Aaron. His once handsome, refined face appeared so disheveled, once so proud and untouchable, now like a fallen angel. His current pitiful state evoked no sympathy from me. I pressed my trembling fingers against my abdomen, restraining my anger, and calmly said, "But there's no more space here. How exactly do you expect me to save you?" Emily, clinging to him like a delicate, helpless flower, whispered, "Aaron, I'm so cold." "Don't worry," he replied. "Uncle Lin will definitely save us." Everyone on the boat was watching my husband, the once mighty CEO, Aaron Liu, now embracing Emily tenderly. The crowd was in a frenzy, like ants on a hot pan. Finally, someone found the last life ring. "Miss Shu, we have a life ring here. It can save Mr. Liu," they shouted. Yes, it was this very life ring that once forced Aaron into a painful decision, a regret that haunted him for life. Now, I would make him choose again. I tossed the life ring back to Aaron and suppressed the smirk creeping onto my lips. What a pity! It can only save one person. The people on the boat yelled desperately, "Mr. Liu, use the life ring! The floodwaters are deadly." But that wasn't enough. To prepare for my upcoming divorce and widowhood, I signaled my assistant with a glance to start a live stream. The headline read, "A real-life Titanic," and we spent another $100 to boost its popularity. Within moments, it was trending. Emily's eyes suddenly reddened, tears welling up and falling silently. "I love you. I was willing to sacrifice everything for you. But lately, I've been feeling nauseous. It's probably from that time. 2 months ago." Her words made Aaron's expression change drastically, and the internet exploded. Yet Aaron was still unaware that everything was being broadcast live. He mistakenly thought my assistant was just recording a video. Aaron hesitated, as expected. But I wasn't going to let him off that easily. My assistant quickly chimed in. "Oh, Mr. Liu, the entire internet knows that Emily is your beloved campus sweetheart. Are you really going to let her drown? She's so delicate and utterly dependent on you. The viewers are watching. How can you not save her? Don't make a choice you'll regret later." The water level was rising rapidly, waves crashing loudly around us. "Aaron Liu, you self-righteous moral saint. Now that the choice is between you and Emily, let's see how you handle it." The number of viewers in the live stream skyrocketed to over 1 million. Everyone was eager to see the once powerful CEO, Aaron Liu, struggle to survive. This spectacle was far more thrilling than any survival show. Aaron's face darkened with rage, his eyes blazing. "Who gave you permission to film this? Are you seeking death?" He thought my assistant was just filming a regular video, unaware it was a live stream. Things were getting interesting. This time, I would force Aaron Liu to reveal his true colors and expose him to the entire internet. The freezing water seeped into Emily's clothes, her face pale as a sheet as she trembled violently. "Aaron, can you give me the life ring?" "I don't want to die," she pleaded, her thin frame clinging to Aaron. I curled my lips into a slight smile. "Aaron Liu, now that your own life is on the line, let's see how you choose." Just as I predicted, he couldn't make a decision quickly. Meanwhile, the number of viewers continued to climb past 1 million, everyone waiting to see how Aaron Liu would survive. In a cold, emotionless tone, I announced to the entire boat, "I will pay $1 million to anyone willing to give up their spot on the boat." Aaron Liu was a businessman, cold and calculating. Even amidst the chaos, he analyzed the situation like he was at the negotiating table, deciding whose life to buy. $1 million was more than enough to catch the eye of ordinary people, a life-changing sum for them. The crowd gasped. The villagers' eyes gleamed, but their excitement quickly turned into anger. The viewers in the live stream began to curse Aaron Liu, calling him a heartless capitalist. He was treating the lives on the boat as disposable. One by one, the villagers stirred restlessly, with some skilled swimmers even beginning to strip off their jackets, preparing to jump into the water for the money. I shot my assistant a glance, and she quickly intervened. "Wait, aren't your lives worth anything? What's the point of earning money if you won't live to spend it? And can you really trust his words without any proof? He hasn't paid yet, and you're already rushing to die for him? If you die, who will hold him accountable?" she shouted. That moment, a flash of lightning split the sky, followed by a deafening crash of thunder. The crowd fell silent, and the smile on Aaron's face disappeared. In a desperate move, Aaron raised the offer to $5 million. $5 million for 2 spots. As long as someone is willing to jump, I'll transfer the money immediately, he shouted. For the first time, a trace of panic appeared on Aaron's usually calm face. Despite his desperation, he clung tightly to Emily's waist, displaying a show of deep affection. But nobody believed him anymore. For the villagers, $5 million was an unimaginable fortune. Yet, the larger the sum, the less they trusted it. The film crew knew Aaron Liu's ruthless nature all too well. In a life-or-death situation, who would dare to risk it all? Everyone shook their heads and stayed put. "Mr. Liu, it's pointless to waste your breath. No amount of money is worth more than a life." "That's right. With waves this big, who would dare jump?" Aaron's face grew paler, his expression increasingly grim. And just when it seemed like all hope was lost, the life ring in Aaron Liu's hand was suddenly snatched away. Without a second thought, Emily Rong grabbed it and secured it around herself. "Emily, you..." Aaron's eyes widened in shock, his usually cold expression showing a rare trace of pain. In a hoarse voice he demanded, "Why did you do this?" "Isn't it obvious? To survive," she snapped. I suppressed the urge to smile, feeling a dark sense of satisfaction. "Aaron, how does it feel to be betrayed by your precious white moonlight?" "Aaron, I'm sorry," Emily's voice trembled. "I did this for our child. I want to live." Tears streamed down her cheeks as she pleaded. "A fortune teller once told me that I would only ever bear sons, never daughters. If I weren't pregnant with our son, I would rather die and give you the life ring. But now I'm carrying a child. 2 lives depend on me, Aaron. This is our son." Hearing this, Aaron Liu was at a loss. He didn't want to die, but he was someone who always believed that only sons were worth anything. In the past, he never once hid his disappointment that our daughter, Luna, was not a boy. Desperate, Aaron resorted to threatening the crew, leveraging his position as an investor. But it was futile. The workers valued their lives too much to heed his threats. Now completely cornered, Aaron's eyes turned dangerously toward me. "Liu, you don't want to watch me die, do you? You will save me, won't you?" I shrugged, feigning regret. "But I can't save you." Aaron gritted his teeth, his gaze boring into me. "No, you have a way to save me," he said, his tone so certain it sent chills down my spine. My heart sank, and I stared coldly at him as he demanded, "Get down here and give me your spot." His entitled tone was infuriating. Did he really think I loved him enough to die for him? I hadn't even begun to avenge my past life's grievances. "Aaron Liu, who gave you the confidence to think I would sacrifice myself for you?" I retorted sharply. Aaron's face twisted with rage as he glared at me. "If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have come here and gotten into this mess," he said icily. "This is all your fault. If I die, you won't escape responsibility." Once, I had seen Aaron Liu as my childhood friend, my confidant, my lover. But when all those illusions shattered, all that was left was Aaron Liu, a man with no aura, no charm. "Is it my fault you were visiting Emily's tent under the pretense of checking on me?" I exposed him mercilessly. "The person you should blame is yourself, not me. I already gave you the life ring, but you couldn't keep hold of it. What more can I do? Go tell your heartfelt regrets to the king of hell." The viewers in the live stream were stunned, the chat exploding with comments. Watching the flood of messages, I felt a wave of satisfaction wash over me. Having failed to get help from me, Aaron turned his focus back to Emily. There was only one life ring, and only one of them could survive. The floodwaters surged around us, and no one on the boat was willing to give up their spot. Aaron's conflicted gaze shifted to Emily. Clenching his fists, he hesitated. Emily's eyes filled with tears, panic written all over her face. "Aaron, think! I think our baby isn't going to make it. I can feel him slipping away." "Aaron, don't you want him to live?" The mention of a child was the only thing that could sway Aaron. But he didn't know that I too was carrying his child this time, a daughter who belonged to me alone, with nothing to do with him. As for whether Emily's so-called son was really Aaron's, who could say? My assistant leaned close to whisper, "Miss Shu, Emily isn't what she seems. Mr. Liu is no match for her." I curved my lips into a faint smile. "Oh, I know," I replied. "Everyone in the industry knows Emily is famous for her love of men, whether they're rich, handsome, or have influence. As long as they have one of those qualities, she's willing to be with them. She flits among men like a butterfly, and Aaron is just one of her conquests. The so-called child is merely her bargaining chip to survive." But perhaps because of his infatuation with his white moonlight, Aaron stubbornly believed the child was his. Determined, he swam away on his own. Watching his figure disappear into the waves, I remained still. Fade into the distance. I narrowed my eyes. "Aaron, I hope you survive this time, just so you can see for yourself whose child Emily is really carrying." In this flood, most lives were saved. After the waters receded, a search party scoured the area to locate Aaron, dead or alive. After an entire day of searching, they finally found him. It seemed he had managed to swim and was barely clinging to life. After being rushed to the hospital, Aaron spent 3 days and nights in the ICU. Not once did I visit him. I was too busy with my filming schedule. Only when I heard that Aaron Liu had miraculously survived did I remember I needed to finalize our divorce. As I approached his hospital room door, I heard Emily Rong's sobbing voice. "Aaron, you've finally woken up. You have no idea how worried I was. I've been so scared these past few days. I didn't mean to take the life ring. It was all for our son. Aaron, you'll forgive me, won't you?" I glanced over and saw a look of deep affection appear on Aaron Liu's pale, sickly face. He gently held Emily's hands, his voice soft and soothing. "Emily, I never blamed you. You're a mother. I understand your desire to protect our son." "Aaron, you don't know how cruel Lu Shu was," Emily continued tearfully. "That day, he started a live stream, and we were both mercilessly attacked by clueless keyboard warriors. Aaron, who was weak and frail, suddenly sat up in shock, his face white as a sheet. "What did you say?" he asked, his voice hoarse. He rubbed his temples, eyes filled with disbelief. Lu dared to livestream this? Is he insane? Doesn't he realize how much damage this could do to the company? I couldn't help but laugh. Did Aaron really not know that his company's stocks had already plummeted? I pushed open the door and walked in, leaving the exhausted, bedridden man behind. I'm not insane, Aaron. If anyone's going crazy, it should be your PR team. This time, there's no saving your public image. For days, Aaron's act of trying to buy lives with money had been trending at the top of the news. His eyes darkened with resentment. Lou, what benefit did you gain from this? Did you deliberately leave us to drown, enjoying the sight of Emily and me struggling in the flood? At that moment, Aaron's mother burst into the room. Aaron, how can you speak to Lou like that? Don't you realize that all of this is your fault? And as for this Miss Wrong, you need to cut ties with her immediately and apologize to Lu Shu. Mrs. Lowe shot a quick glance at Aaron, signaling him to soften his stance with me. In my past life, Mrs. Liu and Aaron were experts at playing good cop, bad cop. One would coax while the other would criticize, extorting endless resources from my family. But Aaron remained steadfast, gripping Emily's hands firmly. Mother, Emily is pregnant with my child, your long-desired grandson. I have to give her a home. Those words hit me hard. I wasn't angry for myself, but felt a deep sadness for Luna. In our previous life, Luna tried so hard to win the Liu family's approval, but they ignored her because she was a girl. Aaron never once considered giving Luna a loving family or being a good father. Calmly, I reached into my bag, pulled out the divorce papers, and placed them in front of him. Perfect timing. Let's get divorced. Mrs. Liu's face turned livid, her voice trembling. Aaron, are you out of your mind? Has the flood scrambled your brain? You want to give her a home, but what about Liu Shu? With a sharp glint in her eye, she turned to me and said, Liu, don't worry. I will handle this. Let's forget about you not saving him, but a divorce? That's out of the question. Aaron's eyes flickered with a hint of hesitation, but after staring at the divorce agreement for a few seconds, he finally spoke. Fine. I agree to the divorce. Mrs. Liu couldn't hold back her fury. Aaron Liu, are you insane? Our marriage was a business alliance, less than a year old. Back then, my father, seeing how much I loved Aaron, agreed to help the Liu family navigate their crisis. That's how their company managed to return to stable operations. But if we divorce, I will withdraw my shares and funds. What happens to Aaron's company after that? Who knows? Amidst Mrs. Liu's frantic scolding, Aaron remained expressionless as he signed the divorce papers. Before leaving, I heard him say coldly, So what if the company loses the Liu family support? My child cannot live without me. Emily is the woman I truly want to marry. I'm willing to give up everything for her and our child. With the divorce finalized, I focused even more on my work. The film I was working on was nearing completion. Y. Yang, an award-winning actor, was making a cameo. During filming, he was often seen flirting with Emily, and the entire crew knew about their unusual relationship. Some even witnessed them embracing and kissing, but I pretended not to notice. Let him wear his green hat. It's none of my business. The only one still in the dark was Aaron, the so-called pure love warrior. In our previous life, I only learned after our marriage that Emily had been his white moonlight since college. What I never understood was why, if he loved her so deeply, he chose to marry me right after graduation. I placed my hand gently on my abdomen. In this life, my Luna would be born healthy and strong. When she was born, I had no intention of letting Aaron know. He didn't deserve to be her father, neither biologically nor in name. On the day the film wrapped, while I was resting on set, I saw Aaron step out of a car and walk toward me. He had a spring in his step, his lips curving slightly, clearly in a good mood. What brings Aaron Liu here today? I wondered. As he approached me with a deliberate air, standing right in front of me, he announced, I'm here to propose to Emily. She's pregnant with my son, and she's due in a few months. I must give her a proper status. I can't let my son be born a bastard. I couldn't help but burst into laughter. The entire film crew was watching. I wish you the best of luck with your proposal. Emily Wrong is pure, innocent, gentle, and virtuous, a good woman, I said. Aaron Liu's cold, handsome features softened immediately, a gentle warmth spreading across his face at the mention of Emily. Then, turning to me, his expression changed. "Lou, you really need to fix your attitude, or no man will ever want you." The corners of my lips curled slightly. I stared at Aaron with a cold, expressionless gaze. Why would I care whether men want me or not? They should consider it a privilege to get close to me, I retorted. Then, raising an eyebrow, I added, "And do you seriously believe that Emily is carrying your child?" Aaron's face darkened instantly, his expression turning icy. "Lou, watch your words." "Of course it's my child she's carrying." He was so convinced. Then I was ready to sit back with popcorn and watch the show unfold. Aaron strode away angrily, clearly displeased. He was deliberately keeping quiet about the fact that Emily hadn't shown her face since she arrived on set and went straight to the trailer. My assistant whispered to me excitedly, "Monsieur." I stumbled upon a secret. She leaned in and whispered a few words into my ear. I raised my eyebrows and smiled. No kidding now. The wrap-up scene was filmed late into the night. To celebrate, the director had arranged for a grand display of fireworks. As the colorful explosions lit up the sky, Aaron Lou approached slowly, each step filled with purpose. He walked straight to Emily, and under the brilliant display, he knelt on one knee and presented a ring worth millions. "Emily, I never knew how to make you happy before and always ended up upsetting you. But now I've learned how to love. I want to give you a home, a family, a place for our child," Aaron declared with determination. The entire crowd was stunned into silence. Everyone knew about Emily's relationship with X. Why? Yang and the tangled web of this love triangle made it hard for anyone to take sides. Emily looked flustered while X. Why? Yang stood off to the side looking like a spectator. "Enjoying the drama, Emily? Will you marry me?" Aaron asked, his voice unwavering. Emily remained silent, her gaze occasionally drifting toward Young. As the silence dragged on, Aaron's expression grew more anxious. Just then, the screen behind them suddenly lit up, the harsh brightness drawing everyone's attention. A video began to play. Emily's voice filled the air. "Soo-young, I'm pregnant with your child. You will love me, won't you?" The entire crowd was stunned. Aaron's eyes, which had been filled with joy, turned ice cold. He whipped around to face the screen where Emily and Young were embracing intimately. In that instant, Aaron's composure shattered, his expression twisting in disbelief and utter devastation. In the video, Emily leaned dependently against Soo-young, their affectionate behavior like an invisible slap across Aaron's face. And the worst was yet to come. Soo-young laughed mockingly and asked, "Whose child is it?" "Of course it's yours," Emily replied without hesitation. "The baby is already 3 months along. Who else could it be? Don't believe those online videos." When the flood hit, I had to lie to that fool and say the child was his. Otherwise, why would he save me? I almost burst out laughing. As expected, Aaron Lou was living in a world where only he was hurt. Aaron's eyes turned bloodshot, filled with pain. "Emily, so all along you've been lying to me. The child was never mine?" Emily's eyes reddened, tears streaming down her cheeks as she pitifully pleaded, "Aaron, I truly love you. I was only playing around with the others. Who would believe that nonsense?" At this point, Emily was desperately trying to win Aaron back, while Young, the playboy, couldn't care less. Aaron's proposal had failed spectacularly. The news that he had been cheated on after a hasty divorce spread like wildfire. Now, the entire internet was abuzz with discussions about Aaron Lou's downfall. The scandal not only tarnished his personal reputation, but also dealt a severe blow to his company's image. With public sentiment turning overwhelmingly negative, the company stock plummeted. Comments flooded in. Aaron Lou rejected the top-tier Queen Lin Shu, only to fall for a manipulative woman like Emily Wrong. No wonder his company's products are subpar. Without Lin Shu's endorsement, they had nothing going for them. The scandal continued to escalate, and once the storm began, it was impossible to calm. Within just 1 month, Aaron's company suffered unprecedented losses. Now, I was curious to see how long he could survive without my support. A month later, after finishing an outdoor shoot, I returned home to find Aaron waiting at my doorstep. He looked at me, his voice trembling. "Lou, can you help me? Please." It was obvious he hadn't been resting well. Exhaustion was etched into his features. I stared at him boldly, my voice frigid. "Help you? With what?" "The company shares are crashing. If this continues, we're going to face even more serious consequences." "Lou, you're the only one who can help me now," he pleaded, desperation clear in his eyes. I gave a faint smile. "Mr. Lou, why not seek help from Emily? I'm sure she'd be happy to assist you. Only when you're backed into a corner do you think of me. But back when you were basking in wealth and glory, your heart was fully devoted to Emily." At the mention of Emily, Aaron Lou's expression immediately darkened. He took a deep breath, suppressing his frustration, and spoke calmly. "Lou, I know this is my child. For the sake of the baby, can't you forgive me this once?" he pleaded. I couldn't suppress a derisive laugh. Hatred surged within me, and before I could stop myself, I slapped him hard across the face. The sharp sound of the slap drew everyone's attention. Aaron turned his face, his eyes cold as ice. He glared at me, with fury simmering beneath the surface. In a low voice, he demanded, "What did I say wrong? This is my child. For the child's sake, why can't you just endure it? I'll treat you well from now on." "Endure?" I scoffed, crossing my arms and smiling coldly. "Aaron Lou, tell me, why should I endure anything? I have money. I have a thriving career. And once my child is born, I can provide the best life for her. She will be treated like a princess by everyone around her. Why would I humble myself in front of you? You think too highly of yourself." I continued with a calm smile. "Once the baby is born, she will have nothing to do with you. I can be both her mother and her father. Without you, she will be far happier." Stunned into silence, Aaron clenched his fists, his face twisting with suppressed rage. As I walked past him, I leaned in and whispered, "By the way, I forgot to tell you she will take my last name. Luna will no longer be Luning, but my precious line Luna." His face contorted with an expression more painful than the slap I'd given him. But I loved watching him like this. The more desperate and miserable he was, the more satisfying it was. Since my film's release, it had become a nationwide sensation. My acting was widely praised, and the public couldn't get enough. "Lee's face is gorgeous. Her figure is stunning. And she's got real acting chops. We love her. She's become even more powerful after leaving that man." However, rumors still circulated. Will Leah reconcile with Aaron for the sake of the child? The internet was buzzing with speculation. During a promotional event, reporters asked me directly, "Miss Lin, will you be getting back together with Mr. Lou?" Facing the camera, I responded calmly, "I have never considered getting back together. A child is a child, and I am me. Here, I want to tell all my female fans, even if you get pregnant and have a child, never lose yourself." Those words were as much a reminder to myself as they were to others. I regretted the years I wasted in my past life, leaving my career behind for love. A few months later, I heard the news about Aaron Lou's bankruptcy. His downfall was no surprise to me. Without the financial backing from my family, the Lou Corporation couldn't sustain itself. Cutting off losses was the best outcome. However, I hadn't expected him to hold on for as long as he did. Now he was entangled in financial disputes, drowning in debts he couldn't repay and facing lawsuits. The court had already put the Lou Corporation's headquarters up for auction. To avoid any risks or complications during my pregnancy, I had stopped all activities and stayed home, focusing on resting and waiting for Luna's arrival. At the same time, I instructed my assistant to monitor the auction closely. Finally, I succeeded in acquiring the Lou Corporation's building. The day I arrived at the company, I saw Aaron being escorted away by the police. "Leah, you came to save me, didn't you?" he shouted, just as he was about to be shoved into the police car. I took off my sunglasses and looked at him coolly. I'm the legal owner now, I replied, glancing at him with a faint smile. From now on, this place no longer carries the Lou name. Aaron's expression changed dramatically. His eyes were filled with a complex mix of hatred and disbelief. You have the money, but you still wouldn't save me? Leah, do you really hate me that much? Oh, I hate you. All right, I said with a cold laugh. Letting you rot in prison is being merciful. If it weren't for the law, I would have had someone finish you off long ago. That way, my precious Luna would never have to worry about being bullied by a worthless father like you. Aaron was imprisoned for his financial crimes, and I went on to establish my own company. Not only that, but I was even nominated for Best Actress. That day, our film crew gathered to celebrate, and I found myself sitting next to Emily Wrong. When I won the Golden Horse Award for Best Actress, I caught a fleeting look of envy in her eyes, despite her efforts to hide it. Congratulations, Miss Lin, she said with a forced smile. Your career is thriving, and your baby is about to be born. I returned her smile, whispering, thank you. But what about your baby? Emily had been forced to abort her child. Su Yang refused to take responsibility, and his agency would never allow him to jeopardize his career for a baby. Emily had no choice but to end the pregnancy. Her smile stiffened. I walked up to the stage to accept my trophy. This award had been a lifelong dream, something I had regretted missing out on before. But now I had finally achieved it, and my life felt complete. I was grateful to exist in this world, no longer just a fleeting dream. This trophy was proof of Luna's presence with me in this lifetime. She would always be by my side. The day Luna was born was a mix of excitement and anticipation. With all the precautions I had taken, I avoided the complications of my past life. I gave birth to Luna smoothly. She was as sweet and lovely as before, with a spark of intelligence that was uncanny. Before she even turned 1, she had already started speaking. When she called out Mama for the first time, my heart raced with joy and disbelief. Tears streamed down my face. The happiness of regaining something precious after losing it was indescribable. Luna became the center of my world, adored by everyone in the company. She was my most cherished family member. But while I was basking in happiness, others were not as fortunate. In the same year Luna was born, Emily Wrong fell out of favor in the entertainment industry after offending a powerful figure. Her lack of acting skills, combined with her arrogance at events, led to her being blacklisted. She disappeared from the public eye, as if she had never existed. Seasons changed, and soon it was Luna's 7th birthday. I threw her a grand celebration at the most luxurious 5-star hotel in the city. She stood before a towering 7-layer cake, her eyes closed as she blew out the candles. A bright smile spread across her chubby cheeks, dimples forming as she grinned. Mommy, you're not just my mom. You're also my dad. You're Luna's favorite person in the whole world. Since her birth, Luna had never asked for a father. I had given her all the love she needed. In her eyes, I was more than enough. The candlelight reflected on her adorable face, making her eyes sparkle as she whispered, I want to be with Mommy forever. Overwhelmed with emotion, I hugged her tightly. Luna, do you want to hear Mommy sing for you? She kissed my cheek and nodded eagerly. Holding the microphone, I stood on the stage and sang 7 children's songs as a special birthday gift to her. The melodies filled the air, carrying my endless blessings for my daughter. In my heart, I made a silent prayer. May my Luna live a life full of peace and joy, free from any worries.